Hi everyone, how are you all? I hope you're all well and that the sun is shining wherever you are. I'm afraid where I am, dark Africa is getting darker by the day as load shedding is increasing, with yesterday us just having 2.5 hours between every 4.5 hour outages. But we'll talk about all of that in a separate video. For now, we are back on the royal beat, where unfortunately the news is not looking any brighter. Look, we all know what that episode of South Park was all about, namely the hypocrisy of Harry and Meghan, who are constantly complaining about the media and media intrusion, yet who themselves are pursuing the headlines like crazed lunatics who can't say no to an interview or miss an opportunity to make their voices heard. In a nutshell, that is what the South Park skit was about, and the title could not make it clearer: the worldwide privacy tour. Then there is the subtext of Harry and Meghan complaining that the media is painting them in a bad light, lying about them. But then they go on to make a documentary and write a book painting their families in a bad light and telling a few classic lies. Okay, so it does not take a genius to work out and understand what this South Park episode was all about, nor does it take a genius to work out the truth of it. Since Harry and Meghan left the royal family, they have been on the James Corden, Oprah, Ellen show, been on the front pages of numerous magazines, given numerous interviews to said magazines. Meghan wrote an essay for the New York Times. They appeared at numerous events and paid for and publicly received a number of bogus awards. Then there was their own Netflix series, Harry's book, and let's not forget Meghan's podcast on Spotify. Seriously, I'm not even going to go back and list it all. We've been there and done that as it unfolded. The point is that no matter what standard you apply and go by, it was all too over the top, too much. And they have now intruded into our lives and invaded our privacy to an extent where they became the neighbor we are hiding from, or the faces and voices we cannot stand anymore. They have become that dripping tap, that sore in your mouth your tongue keeps going to. They have become such a constant irritation that just the sight of them makes you itch. Yes, they oversaturated the market. They force themselves on us on a daily basis while criticizing us all for commenting on them and criticizing them. It's like they come up to us saying, "Here I am, but don't look at me." And hence, at the end of the day, it resulted in that episode of South Park, which finally said exactly what we have been trying to say for 3 years now. Yes, South Park made fools out of the Harkles. Yes, South Park hurt their brand. But guess, just guess, how they are now reacting. Guess what we will be entertained to in the weeks to come. Well, on Saturday, March the 4th, Harry will be in conversation with Dr. Gabor Mate, and not even for free. Oh no, tickets to the virtual event will cost you $33. And what will they be talking about other than the book, of course? Well, about Harry's mommy who died 25 years ago. Now I'm asking you, even after South Park and all the commentary on Harry's book, and even after their popularity in the United States tanked right down into negative figures, they still don't get it. How is this possible? Don't they see and understand that it had all been too much? Don't they get it? How can they not? What's wrong with them? It appears that they are addicted to more than just marijuana. They, and I must say it appears to be more Harry than Meghan lately, seem to be addicted to media attention, addicted to moaning and complaining and victimhood. Harry appears to be regressing rapidly, and where I judged his mental age previously to be that of a 12 or 13-year-old, he now appears to have the mental age of an attention deprived 6 or 7-year-old, because at that age, any attention would be better than no attention, even negative attention. And this is what we are now seeing from Harry. But hang on, as if that is not enough, it is rumored, or maybe it's even true, that Harry will be back on Stephen Colbert's Late Show next week, Tuesday. According to author R.S. Locke, the segment in which Colbert usually asks a series of questions to his guests was indeed pre-recorded, but it is not sure whether it was recorded with the rest of the program in January or whether it was recorded later, or even whether it could be an attempt at hitting back at the South Park episode. Now, I'm fast running out of words where it concerns Harry and Meghan. There are no explanations left. Harry explained it all in his book. The mental illness we were speculating about, the intense jealousy, the drug abuse, a toxic, destructive human in a toxic, destructive relationship, which is fueling his delusions and addictions. All of it has been discussed ad nauseum and supported in Harry's book. So there's nothing left for us to speculate about. However, the other side is also true, namely that he is likely fueling the same in Meghan. It is indeed what it is, and will likely remain this way until the inevitable disaster hits, whether it is a divorce or an accident or even death. This is a situation which is so toxic that it will come to a disastrous end. It is not a matter of if, but when. I'm thus starting to see it for what it is, an inevitability, something which will run its course because Harry and Meghan do not have the tools to stop this runaway train. It is thus also logic that it will not change anything or serve any purpose for us to be angry or upset with Harry and Meghan, because, like I have just explained, I don't think they can help themselves. I think a shift of focus is needed. I think we should shift our focus to those who are now obviously exploiting the situation and continuing to give them a platform to enact their illnesses on. Those who are giving them a platform to harass, gaslight, and hurt the public and their families. Those are the sickos who should be taken to task now. And then we need to turn our attention to the king, who is refusing to read the room, refusing to protect his other son and heir and his family, and refusing to protect his country and its people against the damaging vitriol coming from the filthy minds and mouths of Harry and Meghan. I told you weeks before the news officially broke that the king had made it clear to Harry and Meghan that they were welcome to attend the coronation, that he wanted his son there. Now that the news is out that they were indeed officially invited, everyone is quiet and all searching for the next excuse. Things like, oh, the king had no choice. Had he not invited them, they would have had even more reason to complain and accuse the king of racism, etc. No, BS, rubbish, nonsense. They have been doing it all along, even before the Queen passed away and before Charles became king. And they will continue to do it after the coronation, regardless of whether they attend or not. All the king is doing by going against the advice of his council and senior aides and against the will of the public is to expose not only his other son, but also every other dignitary and every other member of the royal family to the possibility of public humiliation and abuse from the Meghan and Harry camp. And this is not fair and it is not right. It is not a family event. This is a state event paid for by the state. Effectively, the king is doing what he has always done. What Charles wants, Charles gets. Otherwise, he will scream, shout, and kick furniture for 15 minutes non-stop. I know William has received his training and advice from the Queen and Prince Philip, and I know he'll do everything in his power to continue the monarchy. But if I was William at this point, I would have put my father to face a choice, my brother or me. But luckily, William is not me. He won't do that. Instead, he will show up and go through the motions regardless. So, guys, I don't know what to say anymore. Some of us will grab at all the BS positive PR from Buckingham Palace because we need something positive to cling to and believe in. And others will remain realistic and will grow increasingly irritable and frustrated with the lies and gaslighting. And eventually, we will be faced with a choice: accept the lies and ignore it, or take to the streets and protest it. Personally, I agree with Jan Moore, and like her, I fear that Charles's coronation will prove to be the beginning of the end of the monarchy. In these extremely difficult times, we need love, loyalty, and strength from our leaders. And I'm afraid that King Charles does not possess any of those qualities for his subjects and the general public. I also agree with Tom Bauer that he is a weak man with his own entitled and selfish mannerisms, and unfortunately, for our culture and our history, he is not the man for the job at this time. Maybe 200 or 300 years ago, he would have been a very popular king. But in this day and age, his feudal behavior and actions are out of touch, damaging, and hurtful to his previously loyal subjects. Okay, guys, I think I should rather leave it right here. This coming week will be a tough one for me for various reasons, but I have a list of subjects I do want to discuss with you here and on my other channel and on Rumble. Unfortunately, due to personal circumstances, I cannot predict what will be where or when. So keep an eye out for my community post if you are interested in the subjects discussed on my other channel. Okay, guys and girls, so until we meet again on the next one, please take good care of yourselves. Bye.